Hello viewers, in the last two videos we studied about mediators of inflammation, in which we studied vasoactive amines, arachidonic acid metabolites, cytokines and chemokines. So in today's lecture also we will be studying the mediators of inflammation. The topic today is the complement system, and we will also be studying about few other mediators of inflammation. So what is complement system? So complement system, it consists of more than 20 chemically and immunologically distinct plasma proteins comprising complement components, the Properdin system, and some regulatory or control proteins and control proteins. So the complement system, it comprises the complement components, the Properdin system and the control proteins. So what is the function of complement? So complement functions to provide host defense against microbial pathogens, and it plays important role in both innate and adaptive immunity, and the mechanisms by which the complement components are activated in innate immunity and adaptive immunity, they are different. So there are mainly three pathways: alternative pathway, classical pathway and lectin pathway for complement activation. And in complement components, there are several components, and these are numbered from C1 to C9, and C1 has three subunits. It has three subunits. What are these? C1Q, R and S. So we have 11 distinct proteins in the complement component. This is the complement system, and in system are included the complement components, the Properdin system and the control proteins. So we are here talking about the complement components. So there are 11 distinct proteins. The complement components, they are present in the body in inactive form, and they can be activated by various stimuli. In different pathways, there are different stimuli which are activating the complement components. So whenever the complement components are activated, they become proteolytic enzymes and they act on the other complement components and they cleave them, and thus an enzymatic cascade is formed, and this ultimately leads to formation of the membrane attack complex, which leads to the cytolysis of the cell or the microbe. Now let us see how the classical pathway, what is the mechanism by which the complement is activated. So in the classical pathway, the C1, it binds to the antibody. It is not free, antibody is bound to its antigen. So it binds to the antibody, and which antibody? Either IgM or IgG. So these two antibodies. So C1, so the binding subunit is C1Q. So it binds to the Fc portion of the antibody, and this leads to sequential activation of the other subunits C1R and C1S. Here we denote the activated component by placing a bar over it. So the active components, we have the bars placed over them. So C1s is C1s esterase, and it is one molecule of it is capable of cleaving several molecules of C4. So this is an example of amplification. So then C4 cleaves into C4a and C4b. C4a is released into the medium and it is an anaphylatoxin, and C4b, it binds to the cell membrane along with the C1, and then it cleaves C2. It has enzymatic activity, and this cleaves C2 into C2b and C2a. Here C2b is released into the medium and C2a binds this complex, and this is called as C3 convertase of the classical complement pathway. C1 4b 2a, this is C3 convertase, and the activation or cleavage of C3 is the critical step in the complement activation in all these three pathways. So C3 is now cleaved into C3a and C3b. C3a is anaphylatoxin, it has biological properties, so it is released into the medium, and C3b binds this complex, and this forms the C5 convertase. So C5 convertase is C1 4b 2a 3b. Now it activates or it cleaves the C5 into C5a and C5b. C5a is again anaphylatoxin, so it is released into the medium, and this 5b, it joins this complex, and the other complement components like C6, C7 and later C8 and 9, they combine and they form the membrane attack complex, and this leads to the lysis of the cell wall or the lysis of the microbe. So this was the classical pathway. So here we have seen that the component is cleaved into two subunits. One is larger and one is smaller, and usually the larger subunit, it joins the cascade, and the smaller subunit, it is released into the medium. And the smaller subunit, it has several biological effects like the C3a, C5a, C4a. They have biological effects. What does it mean? It means that they are amplifying the immune response. They are amplifying the immune response or the defense mechanism. So they are actually recruiting or activating the leukocytes. They act as opsonins, they act as chemotactic agents, and they enhance the phagocytosis because they act as opsonins, and also they play important role in vasodilation because they act on the mast cells to release histamine. So next we come on to the alternative pathway. In innate immunity, the complement is activated through the alternative pathway or the lectin pathway. So the activation of complement in alternative pathway doesn't require specific antibodies. It can be activated by bacterial surface molecules, endotoxin, lipopolysaccharides, complex polysaccharides, IgA, IgT, cobra venom, and nephritic factor. So these can all lead to activation of the complement. So first step in the alternative pathway is the binding of C3b to its activator. So from where this C3b has come? So C3b is normally being generated continuously in the circulation but in small quantities. So this C3b is generated in small quantities in circulation, and it is free C3b, and it is inhibited by the circulating proteins which are factor H and I. So they can inhibit only the free C3b. They cannot inhibit or inactivate the bound C3b. Bound C3b, the C3b which is bound to its activator. So this bound C3b then interacts with factor B to form C3bb, and the factor D acts on this complex and cleaves B into BA and BB. So this forms C3BBB, which is enzymatic activity, and this is the C3 convertase of the alternative pathway. But this is not stable, this is labile, and this is stabilized by properdin or the factor P. So factor P or properdin stabilizes the C3 convertase of the alternative pathway. So this cleaves C3 into C3A and C3B, and C3B joins the cascade, and this forms the C5 convertase. So C3B, BB, 3B is the C5 convertase, which cleaves C5 into C5A and C5B, and ultimately this leads to formation of membrane attack complex, which leads to lysis of the microbe. So here we have seen that in this alternative pathway, the activation of C3 occurs without prior activation of C1, C4 and C2. So there is direct activation of this C3. Now next is the lectin pathway. So lectin in the lectin pathway, the mannose binding lectin, which is present in the plasma, so it binds to the carbohydrate which is present on the surface of the microbe, and this leads to direct activation of the C1 complement component. So this activates the C1 component, and these same steps are followed afterwards, which are seen in the classical pathway, and this leads to ultimately this leads to formation of membrane attack complex, which leads to the lysis of the microbe. Now we will study about the function of the complement. The complement system performs three main functions. First is inflammation, so we have seen that the C3A and C5A, C3A, C5A, and to a smaller extent this C4A, they stimulate the release of histamine from mast cells, and what is the effect? This leads to vasodilation and increased vascular permeability, and these are also called as anaphylotoxins, because they have effects similar to the mast cell mediators which are involved in anaphylaxis. C5A acts as a chemotactic agent for neutrophils, monocytes, basophils and eosinophils. And C5A, it also activates the lipooxygenase pathway, which leads to generation of and release of even more mediators. Next function is phagocytosis and opsonization and phagocytosis in that sequence. So the C3b and its inactive cleavage product, we denote inactive product by using a suffix I. So here inactive cleavage product of C3b, they act as opsonins. So they bind to the microbe, and the phagocytes, they have receptors for these opsonins. So this enhances or this promotes phagocytosis. And third is the cell lysis. Third function is the cell lysis. So this is mediated by formation of the membrane attack complex, which leads to formation of holes on the surface of the microbe or the cell, and this leads to the osmotic lysis of the cell. The water and the ions, the cell becomes permeable to the water and the ions, and this leads to the osmotic lysis of the cell. And this function is particularly important in case of Neisseria infections. So the terminal complement components, if there is deficiency of terminal complement components, then this makes the person susceptible to infection by the Neisseria bacteria. So next we come on to the regulators of complement. Complement activation is controlled by several regulatory proteins which can be cell bound and they can be present in the circulation. The important ones are the C1 inhibitor. So it inhibits the C1 component or the first component of the classical pathway, and the deficiency of this regulator leads to hereditary angioedema. Second is CD55, also called as decay accelerating factor, and CD59, which is membrane inhibitor of reactive lysis. MIRL. So these are both GPI linked proteins. GPI is glycosyl phosphatidyl inositol GPI linked proteins. GPI acts as an anchor. So CD55, it inhibits C3 convertase. So it inhibits C3 convertase, and CD55 inhibits the formation of membrane attack complex. So whenever there is deficiency of enzyme that is required for the synthesis of this GPI protein, then it makes the cell excessive sensitive to lysis by complement. So this is seen in condition paroxysmal nocturnal hemoglobinuria. So in this condition, the RBCs are excessive sensitive to lysis by complement. Now third is the factor H and associated factor I also. So they inhibit the C3b. They bind to the free C3b and they inhibit the formation of, or they prevent the formation of C3 convertase In which pathway? In alternative pathway. And deficiency of or the defect in the factor H or other associated factors which act as regulators, then they can cause an atypical form of hemolytic uremic syndrome. So these inhibitors or these regulators, they can be circulating or they can be expressed on the surface of the host cells to prevent the host cells from the damage by the complement activation. But this complement can overwhelm these regulatory proteins. When there is excessive complement activation, as occurs in autoimmune diseases, in which the body produces, there is excessive production of complement fixing antibodies against body's own antigens. So in these conditions, these regulators can get outnumbered or overwhelmed by excessive complement activation. So these are the main regulators. Next we come on to the other mediators of inflammation. These are some of the other mediators of inflammation: platelet activating factor, PAF, products of coagulation, kinins, and neuropeptides. So platelet activating factor, it is produced by platelets and several other cells like basophils, mast cells, macrophages, neutrophils, and endothelial cells, and it produces platelet aggregation or causes platelet aggregation, vasoconstriction, bronchoconstriction, and in low concentration it causes vasodilation and increase in vascular permeability. Next is the products of coagulation. So the coagulation system and inflammation, they are interrelated. There are protease activated receptors which are present on the leukocytes, and they are activated by thrombin, and this leads to pro-inflammatory effects. Several cleavage products of fibrin, which are called as fibrinopeptides, they also stimulate inflammation. Next is the kinins. So these are vasoactive peptides, and they are derived by the action of the enzyme kallikreins on high molecular weight kininogens, and this leads to production of bradykinin, and its actions are increased vascular permeability, smooth muscle contraction, vasodilation, and pain. And it is rapidly inactivated by kininase, enzyme kininase. Neuropeptides. So these are secreted by sensory nerves and leukocytes, and they play important role in initiation and regulation of the inflammatory response. So example is substance P. So it causes transmission of the pain signals and increasing the vascular permeability. So this was all about the mediators of inflammation. In the next video, we will be studying about the morphological patterns and outcomes of acute inflammation. I hope you like the video. For more such videos, please subscribe my channel and do not forget to like and share my videos. Thanks for watching.